Well, hello, welcome back to Tail 3 Cabins. It is that time of year where weather can quickly go from this to this. And that means it's getting close to the holiday season, so I thought I would go and do a gift guide for this year. This is stuff that could be for the tractor lover, for the RVer, outdoorsman, or maybe all three. But let's get started off with this here. This is a simple little transfer pump that takes 2D batteries. You can pick it up at Harbor Freight or on Amazon. There are versions of them on Amazon. And I use this all the time. I started using this for my tractor, so I would take this end here, the black part, dip that into my diesel tank, flip a switch, and then it would run out here into whatever I'm filling up, so the tractor's. Pumps around 5 to 6 quarts per minute, so around 1.5 gallons per minute. You don't have to sit there and hold the tank up in the air the whole time. It goes fairly fast, makes things a little bit easier. If I have to say one thing, the height of where the diesel fill is on the tractor, if you have your 5-gallon container with your diesel in there, you might want to set that on a table or elevate it a little bit, because trying to get this down and then reach it up to get that filled up, bringing it up about 2 or 3 feet up in the air does help out. I also bought a second one of these for our RV because it makes it a lot easier for me just to dip this into a water tank and then transfer water inside to our RV without having to try to make a makeshift funnel. Same thing, trying to hold a 5-gallon container the whole time. So I bought 2 of these. They work out good. I haven't had issues with them yet. Pretty cheap, somewhere around $12. If you get a Harbor Freight coupon, it could be a little less than that. So one of my first gift guides that I ever did, I talked about a heated vest that I was using when I was on a tractor, especially when I was plowing snow in the wintertime, something I would just put underneath all my clothes and kind of give me that being inside of a nice warm cab feeling when you didn't have a cab. But that vest has since crapped out on me. Last year it stopped working. A lot of people asked me where I got it from, and they stopped making it shortly after I did a little video on it. But I did decide to upgrade to a heated jacket, and this is made by the company iHood. This jacket came nicely packaged. It came in its own little case with a little strap across it. Inside there was, of course, the jacket, a power supply, and the charger necessary for it, and some care instructions. So there's pros and cons between a vest and a jacket. Obviously, a vest might be a little bit less cumbersome, and you can put it under a lot of your clothes. iHood does make a variety of different coats and vests, also gloves and shoes. But I thought I would go with a jacket this time just because I can still use it for hunting. I can put a camo shell on top. It's a little bit warmer than the vest. I can use this jacket probably up to about 45 degrees. It's heavy enough to keep you warm without using the battery functions on it. But once it starts getting colder than that, or maybe you're sitting out in 45-degree weather and you're not very mobile, like I went trick-or-treating with the kids, just at a slow walk, and this was nice just to turn the heat on to warm things up a little bit. So some of the features I like about this jacket over having the vest that I used to have is, well, there's a lot of storage. There's a bunch of zippers on here. There's 12 zippers altogether. There's 2 on each sleeve. And then there's 2 here. I got 2 more down here in the pockets. And then inside the jacket itself, there is more compartments. Another feature is there are 3 different quadrants that you can turn the heat on. There's pads right here in the front. One thing I also like about that is when you have these front pads on and you put your hands in your pockets, it's almost like having heated pockets at the same time. So it really warms up your hands. Even though there's not a lot of material here in between, it does keep your hands nice and warm. There's also pads in the back, and then the vest never had a pad up here around the neck area, so it'll keep your neck nice and warm. You have 3 levels of heat that you can sit on here. It's represented on the little touchpad here in like blue, white, or red, red being the warmest, blue being the coolest. And then if you don't want to show off that you have a heated vest on, there's a little switch here that'll turn the lights off but still continue to heat the vest. So if you're in the woods deer hunting, or you don't want to advertise that you have that you're cheating a little bit and you're keeping yourself warm compared to everybody else, you can turn that button off and people won't see the little lights on here. A few other things that's pretty cool is this is water resistant, and it's also windproof. It's good as an overall jacket, but like I said, when you want to give you a little heat boost, you could just turn these quadrants on it and warm yourself up a little bit. Also, this is washable. The vest that I used to have before was not washable. You just had to keep it clean and try not to sweat on it all the time. I had it for 4 or 5 years and just couldn't wash it the way that was made. Another thing nice about this jacket is that it comes with its own power supply, so you don't have to worry about going out and buying a third-party power supply. Sometimes that's confusing to people because they're not exactly sure what to buy. This power supply is also capable of powering other devices if you should need to do so. But the battery that it comes with, if you have every quadrant on and you have it on the warmest setting, it'll last you about 3.5 hours. If you have things on the cooler settings, you could last it up to about 12 hours. If I'm going out hunting for the evening, I'm usually just sitting for typically 3 to 4 hours. A lot of times when I get to my hunting spot, I'm kind of warm just because of the walking, or maybe I had to climb up a ladder. Once I'm situated and things start cooling down a little bit, I can turn on all the heat pads and just maintain my nice warm body temperature. So far I've been pretty happy with it. The material is nice, it seems sturdy. I got the black because if I'm working with the tractor, every once in a while, you know, I get a little bit of grease on myself and maybe that won't show up as much. If you look at these zippers, you can see that they do zip nice and tight and they are waterproof. You can also remove the hood on the back if you don't want to have the hood back here. So it's a great jacket for outdoor activities. I've used it quite a bit since I've got it in different situations, and I think it's going to be my go-to jacket for quite some time, especially now with the chilly temperatures. It does come in various colors. This is an extra large, and I am 6'2" and about 195 pounds. And I have room if I want to put some more clothes underneath it if it's really, really chilly out. So if I want to put another sweatshirt or like a little puffy vest under here, I do have the room for that. Otherwise, if you're not thinking about putting extra clothes underneath, somebody my size could maybe get away with just a large itself. The battery has a USB connection on the top, and that's how this jacket will hook into. So you connect it up, slide it in its little pocket on the inside of the jacket, and you're all ready to go. And then if you want to turn it on, you just hit one of the buttons up by your left chest area. As of the posting of this video, they are offering a decent Black Friday discount going on now, so I'll leave a link below. I try to keep an air compressor in all my vehicles just in case. So my truck, my wife's car, and my UTV. In the UTV, I'm keeping this Yantu air compressor, and it's pretty simple. Its only function is to just blow up tires, and it's their wireless model, which means that it can inflate your tires with just the onboard battery. They say it is capable of filling up 5 regular car tires, and they list the size on there. It's like 195 something. But with just the battery alone, you should be able to inflate at least 5 just normal car tires. And with the UTV, I should have no problem with that. With it comes a bunch of multiple accessories like you would with any air compressor. So it gives you the hose, 30 inches long. This would just attach on one end here and then to your tire. It also gives you some instructions. Then if for some reason you ran out of battery power, or for you let the charge lapse on here, or maybe you didn't touch it for a year, you can use a cigarette lighter in an emergency. So you have that option of both. If you don't want to try to plug this into your vehicle and then run around and wrap the cord around and be going through the windows and trying to get to your cigarette lighter and stretching out to wherever your car tires are, you could do it all cordlessly without using a DC connection. It also has a couple other attachments, inflating basketballs or footballs, a charging cable, so to use off of a regular USB port. So it's nice and simple. You depress a little switch here on the side to turn it on, and then you can set what type of PSI that you want. You can also have 4 presets on here. So if my truck tire is 35 PSI, this is 12 PSI. My trailer tires are 65 PSI. You could have one for each one. So then if you're bouncing around between vehicles, you don't have to try to look for the little tag to see or try to read the tire itself, which is becoming harder and harder for me to read the amount of PSI that tire takes. So once you have it set, you have 4 presets to memorize everything. You have a plus or minus here, so you can set your PSIs real simple. It will go up to 150 PSI, which is quite a bit. And then you have your start, you have a pause, and then a button here for making your presets. So it's pretty simple. I keep it on the UTV. I keep it in a little toolbox back there. And then if there's another vehicle while I'm down here that needs attention for the PSI, like my tractor needed when we were building a new place this summer, I have this standing by. So I'm going to leave links below on all these products if you want to check them out. Sometimes they're going to have sales. Sometimes there's going to be coupon codes. They also make a wired version. So if you don't want to the battery version, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. You could just get the version that uses a cigarette lighter. The battery on here is 6,000 milliamp hours, a pretty decent size of battery power. Again, if you were to run out, you could still use the cigarette lighter adapter. All right, we'll go to the next product. I talked a lot about straps when it comes to fastening down my tractor on the trailer, and I've tried a lot of different scenarios and different manufacturers, and I ordered these from Rhino USA, and what I really like about them are two things. The strap itself is not very long. It's only 8 feet. A lot of times you buy these heavy duty straps and they come with like 16 feet of strap attached to it, and then you're bunching it up and trying to figure a way to keep it from not flying in the breeze and running over with your trailer tire, which I've done in the past. So the thing that attracted me most about these is this little clip here. So when you strap this down to your trailer, the clip locks in. So if you hit a large bump and there's a little bit of movement, or maybe there's a little bit of give, especially with like a UTV that's got decent springs on it, a lot of times these straps give a little bit and you hit a bump, and it's easy for this hook to come off of your trailer. But this has a nice little locking feature here that will keep it on there. So even if things do come loose a little bit, it's not gonna let loose and fall off. And I've had that happen before too in the past. So I really like these straps, especially there's only about 8 feet of strap on this. It's got a 5,200 pound capacity, so that's more than enough for my tractor. I usually only need about 4 or 5 feet of this length to strap down my tractor, so I don't have that big 12 feet of excess from some of the other heavy duty straps. And then there's all different various ways, if you look on YouTube, on how to take care of your slack here and your excess. I've used these pieces of Velcro too, and they don't budge. It's very strong, so it makes it kind of simple for you to just bunch it up, tie it in a simple knot, and then put the Velcro on there, and it's not gonna come loose. So I'm actually gonna buy a couple more of these because I really do like them. I've been using them since January now, and it gives me a little more peace of mind when I'm trailering our tractor, and I've been doing that a lot this year. All right, last year I talked about this gas detector right here. It's very small and compact. I mentioned how on a fire department, if we wanted something with this type of technology back then, it would cost us several hundreds of dollars, always having to keep it calibrated, where this here comes in around $20 to $25, just depending. So I brought this up last year and I was pretty impressed with it. They also make a little bit heavier duty model that has this wand on it. Detects the same amount of fuels as the other one. So it's going to detect multiple combustible gases, butane, propane, natural gas, gasoline, just a multitude. I'll have a little list I scroll by. That's the same ones that the previous model that I did last year detects. But one thing I like about this is the nice long wand on it. And I thought at first, if you remember when I tested last year's, I used a butane lighter and I just like triggered it for like a millisecond. And it read the results immediately that there was some sort of flammable combustible fuel. I thought having a wand on here, it might take longer for it to react when it comes in contact with the combustible fuel, just because I thought it would have to travel down here to detect. So I gave it the same test that I did last year with the butane lighter, just a quick depress on the lighter, just a millisecond right around the tip here to see if it would be able to read a combustible gas, and here's the results. So I tried it one more time just to make sure. So if you're interested in something like that, you can either buy the version that I reviewed last year, or this wand actually does come in handy for a multitude of purposes. So if you need to get in a tight area or squeeze into something, like our area where our natural gas pipe is, and I'm trying to reach it through the railing by our gas grill, or if I'm getting a wisp of an order from our RV, a little bit of propane or something, I can reach underneath it without having to crawl underneath the RV, and I got a pretty good far reach with this. And then if you don't want to drag a ladder around with you, if you have a lot of gas piping down in your basement, you can go along and follow your gas pipes, go to each joint, and see if you're detecting any natural gas leaks in those joints or those connections. So it works virtually identical as the previous one I did last year. It has a little display up there. When you first turn it on, it's going to have to warm up for about 40 seconds to a minute. Once it does that, then you're ready to go to start detecting what sort of leak you might have. This also comes with a little carrying case to put in there and to keep it clean and keep the dust out of it. So I keep the smaller one in my tool bag, and then I got this one I just keep with our RV all the time with our RV stuff. Okay, I just want to talk about these lights real quick. We've had these around for quite some time. We got them when we first got our cabin in Tennessee back in 2015. Our original ones have lasted 8 years. A couple people have walked off with our ones in Tennessee, so we bought some new ones, and these are the updated ones. And they worked out good for us. They're constantly on a charge. They sit right into your outlet here. There's a little motion sensor now compared to the old ones that didn't have that. So if somebody walks by and it's dark out, this will illuminate for you. A couple different settings, a low, high, and a medium, or an area light. So if the power were to go out, you could just set this down, use that temporarily. Always remains charged. It's convenient. It's not like a battery where sometimes the battery could go dead. Sometimes you have rechargeable flashlights, but you're not always leaving them on the charger. You're just having them off to the side. Also, we've been using this to take out Willow every night. Karen uses this, and one of the things Willow likes to do when she comes back in the house is to grab this flashlight and carry it in because she likes to feel special. Convenient, it sits in an outlet, could be a nice night light for the kids in the kids' bedroom. When the power does go out, this will automatically illuminate, or if somebody walks by, it will illuminate. I like these, comes in a 3-pack. We have one inside our house, we have one down in southern Ohio, and we're gonna be putting these back down in Tennessee. This is the Way-Safe ball and receiver, and I've been using it to tow my tractor around on my 20-foot dovetail trailer. It's very lightweight compared to other receivers, and it has a little scale inside of it, so it gives you an idea just how your weight distribution is going when you're loading a lot of things on the trailer. A rule of thumb when you're loading up your trailers, you usually want the tongue weight to be about 10 to 15% of the overall weight of what the load is you're hauling. Now I have the 8-inch model, and they make various other models. I probably could have got away with a 4 or a 6-inch just because it's easily adjustable. If you're worried about security and someone stealing this, it comes with a couple of keys and all the parts lock into place, so you don't have to worry about anybody walking off with it. Having a scale on it helps you adjust your load on a trailer, so maybe you move heavier things in the back or to the front, just depending on what your tongue weight needs to be. They vary in prices. They come in aluminum or steel. The aluminum is much lighter than the steel version. There is a black or silver finish. Recently, I wanted to put a lot of stuff on the trailer just to take it home in one trip, and I had my backhoe on the front, I had the trailer, I had the brush hog, and it was probably the heaviest load to date.
Yep. Looks like 900. Oh, now it's 1,000.
So it made me very aware that I did have a little too much weight on the tongue. I wasn't going very far, but I knew that I should take it easy when I was driving and just drive very conservative. So as always, I'll leave links below in the description. If there's any coupon codes, I'll also add those down there too. And then lastly, I want to talk about strapping down the tractor. I purchased these from Ken's bolt-on hooks earlier last year, and it just helps taking some of the thought process out of exactly where you're going to place a ratchet strap on your tractor. These are made to fit perfectly on the 1025R. They make 2 brackets for the front, and there's 2 brackets that go in the back of the tractor just below the hydraulic fluid tank. And the only thing you want to be conscious about is you want to run your straps in a way that it's not going to interfere if you have your loader bucket on. So it's just a placement on the trailer to where the bracket is going to strap down. And that's going to do it for this year's gift guide. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one's coming out. And keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody. Happy holidays.